I think something that's maybe not quite talked about enough in terms of building a career in cinematography is that in addition to the creative visual side, you'll also be running your own business as a freelancer. And as a business, it's important that you're investing in the right things. And I'd say there are kind of three main camps: investing in personal projects, investing in your education, and investing in your equipment. I'll do equipment first, as to be honest, I think it's the least important, but easiest to get hung up on and waste a lot of time and money, as I know I did. It's a difficult adjustment if you come from a videography background like I did, as videographers are just kind of expected to have all their own kit. But cinematography is different in that with the vast majority of stuff, it just doesn't make sense to buy. As you should be looking at each project as a unique piece and thinking about the lenses, camera, grip, lighting to suit the film rather than fitting the film to what you already have. Although that doesn't mean you should ever buy anything. I just think it's important to have rules. We always want to be getting better, and buying stuff is a very easy and fast dopamine hit that makes us feel like we're moving forward with our careers, but it's just not true. So having rules and looking at business decisions from a more logical perspective can stop us thinking with our hearts rather than our heads. And I know I wasted a lot of money going down that first route. For instance, when I bought my Red Raptor that I'm filming on now, I was excited, of course, I was over the moon, but it was a business decision. And I'd acknowledged beforehand that buying it wouldn't suddenly make me into a Hollywood DOP shooting blockbusters. So, the rules. And I think I got this from Luke Forsyth, who's a brilliant filmmaking YouTuber. But my approach is that you should only buy if you're spending more than 10% of the total purchase price renting it each quarter. So if it's 10 grand, only think about buying it if you're spending more than 1 grand renting it within a 3-month period. If that's the case, it would mean that you're already paying off 40% of the total cost in rental fees. And since with any camera or especially lighting equipment, you'll be looking to use it for at least 10 years, so you'll easily make the cost back and then be making pure profit. Before I bought the Raptor, productions were giving me the money to go and rent it, whereas now I can rent it back to productions and be paying off my own asset rather than somebody else's. Another thing, only buy something if you can afford to pay for it twice, right now, in cash, and it wouldn't cripple your business. It can be helpful to finance stuff occasionally to build your credit score, but never do it if you don't already have the money sat waiting to go. Now that we've got equipment out of the way, I'd say the more important thing is to invest in personal projects. Annoyingly, it's a bit of a chicken and egg thing, but no one will give you money to make a film unless you've at least made something before. And I kind of think that's fair. So the bad news is that you will need to fund at least your first couple of projects yourself. The good news is though, is that this will give you the freedom to go and make mistakes. And you can make something really amazing with very little. A key thing to bear in mind though, is base your plans on locations you have access to. For my first short, it was a World War II film, so I put the limited budget I had into these wonderful costumes, sourced by my costume designer, Savannah Blum, and then we shot mainly on location in Canberra Sands, which was doubling for Dunkirk Beach. By using this beautiful space that already exists, you can massively increase the perceived production value. And lastly, I'd say education is tied with personal projects in terms of importance. And in my experience, you don't really need money to invest in your education, just time. I have no formal film education, and everything I've learned has just come from trying things and making mistakes. We have unbelievable resources available to us. The Wandering DP, Luke Forsyth, Rob Machado are a few of my favourites. And of course, the Team Leakins podcast is just the best. In addition to that, offering your time to assist someone whose work you admire is a great way to invest in your education without spending anything. I got to assist Denson Baker a while back, and just watching how someone far more experienced thinks and works things out and solves problems is incredibly valuable. Most people will be more than happy to help and pass on what they know. In fact, I got some great advice from a DP, Lorenzo Livrini, that anyone who's worth listening to won't charge you for their time, as they already are successful enough doing what they do. So, my advice, focus on accumulating knowledge. Put yourself in new environments with people far further along than you. Don't go in unprepared, but also don't be afraid to ask stupid questions. It's better to look a bit silly for a second, but gain new knowledge and be better tomorrow. I remember when I was assisting Denson and I was sweating because I'd never plugged in an SDI cable before in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. All my videography kit was HDMI, so I just never had to. But I'm sure if I just asked, then he would have been really lovely about it. So that's my advice to myself and to everyone else. Focus on knowledge and experience rather than equipment. and just don't take yourself too seriously.